How's everybody doing? I try to stand away from everybody because it's more about the talent than me. So welcome to the 31 from Hell panel.
31 from Hell.
31 from Hell, right? It's like, I didn't want to kind of isolate anything, so I like that play of words. Thank you.
I just got it. Good stuff.
Yeah, 31 from Hell. So, like I said, walking over here, I just said that it's more about the people here because, we're the fans of the movies and we try to, I don't want to stand up on the stage. We try to make it about them to you. So I just have a quick question. And it's, maybe along the lines of 31 and 3 from Hell. But it's, how did you guys meet Rob Zombie? All three of you. Who's known him the longest?
I think we all just auditioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
you audition, when you audition for them, they put you on tape with the casting person. And you don't meet them until you show up on set.
Yeah. That's how it happened for me, too.
Okay.
I auditioned for 31, and then I showed up to a fitting, and Rob was there.
Okay.
He's like, "You're going to dress like a Nazi," and I was like, "Let's do it."
Arguably one of the best characters in cinema. Sorry. A little Mexican Nazi. I'm sorry. It's funny. Mr. Brick?
Yeah, it's exactly. It was for Halloween 2. And it shows you how life's a weird thing, because I just was in the middle of splitting from with my wife. And I thought, I was living in London, where I live there now. But I was like, fuck, and there wasn't much work in London, so I just thought, fuck, I'm going to go to L.A. I literally arrived in L.A., I remember it was January 19th, and I had an audition through saying, oh, can you go for this Rob Zombie Halloween 2 audition the next day, literally the next day. So I thought, fuck, yeah, whatever. So I went to it, but I read it, I was like, oh, this is wild. Did the audition, and got the part. And the weird thing, if I hadn't been in L.A., I wouldn't have had the audition, and that's led to all the other films I've done. Probably my greatest experiences as an actor has been working with Rob, and that all happened because I just decided to get on a plane and fly. It shows you weird things happen in life. You can't plan it. Yeah. And like everyone, I just showed up, never met the guy. Showed up there, was terrified because I'd seen, White Zombie and the kind of films he made, that he was going to be this mad, fucking crazy rock and roll, screaming and yelling fucking director. And next thing I know, he says, hi, we're outside my trailer on set, and we're talking about vegan cheese because I'm a vegetarian, but I can't give up the cheese. And he's trying to convince me that vegan cheese tastes good. And I'm thinking, I'm fucking having a conversation with this guy about vegan cheese. He's the most mellow, chilled out, lovely man. And the next thing I know, a couple years later, he sent me 31 and asked me to play Doomhead, which was a real honor.
Psychotic. All right. And I guess this is an off-kilter question. And I'm going to start with Mr. Daniel first. So in Halloween 2, when you're leaving the Rabbit in Red and you're about to go outside and you're pissed off because you just felt like you got disrespected and you did that, was that improvised or was that in the script?
Most of it was improvised, yeah.
Because it was so funny. You're just trying to compose yourself and you're like, yeah. I know it's
that might have been Rob actually telling me to do it, but it wasn't in the script. But yeah, it just, once so that was the order that we shot that. I had already shot where I got my head smashed in the back. We shot that first. And I never work with him. It's in the middle of the night. And I asked him, hey, is there a chance I can improvise some stuff a little? And he just looked at me with these dead eyes like, who is this guy? He's going to screw my movie. And he looked at me and goes, just do my lines first and we'll see about the improvising. And then... And so I go, okay, yeah, no problem. And so I did his lines, and then I started improvising, and then they yelled cut, and then everybody started laughing. And so he goes, okay, yeah, you could go off a little. And so I did, and most of it ended up in the film, all the crazy stuff, because I was with Tyler, who wasn't supposed to give me anything, no, feedback or anything. He's just this giant monster, and so I just rambled and talked shit to him for you know, for a good portion of it. So the reason I bring that up is later on we shot the stuff inside with Dan Roebuck, and he once he realized that we could do that together, he was telling me to do all sorts of stuff. So I think he might even came up with the hand thing. I'm not sure. I think because I don't know. Like, I have a weird film history, but he said, you know, like in the Breakfast Club when he goes like that, and I go, I don't know what the Breakfast Club is, man. I don't know what he's talking about. But I think it is from that. Since that, I did see that. It's like Judd Hirsch or something.
Yeah,
doesn't
at
he
the
do
end
that?
when he's walking
Yeah,
through the
I think
field.
that's
Right,
what
right.
Rob was referring to, but I didn't know at the
that's
time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I always wondered that because I was watching because I'm like, how do you write that in a script? But to me, I think that I always say if I ever have a chance to meet certain actors and I see this weird little nuance they do in a movie, it's like, is that written? Because who would come up with that in a script? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
I don't
an
even
actor
remember.
to do that, you know, I mean, I know why Judd Nelson did it in, you know, The Breakfast Club, but why would a bouncer in a seedy strip joint in a Rob Zombie movie?
I
do,
honestly
The Breakfast
haven't
Club?
remembered
Yeah.
that since we did it, and when you bring it up now, I forgot. And it
It's
might
okay.
have been him from the Breakfast Club, I think.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny. Like, there's so much of that stuff that goes on his sets that he just wants you to come in prepared, ready, and just like throw it all. And if he has time, he'll let you do more. If you don't, you just keep moving because it's so fast and so much stuff that we cover.
All right, right on. All right, and my next question to Pancho is, to me, this is one of the funniest things. You and Sherry in 31 having the shouting match in Spanish at each other, walking through the hallway. How many takes and who laughed first?
I think that was just kind of us rambling, you know. Like Rob, like asked me, like, Sherry wants to do some of the stuff in Spanish too, so can you help her out with some of the stuff? She knows a little bit, so we kind of just rehearsed a couple things together of like things like she could say back to me, and then it was just kind of quick and stuff. But Rob is very meticulous when it comes to like shooting scenes, especially when they're with his wife. So he wants it to be good, and so we worked pretty hard, and she was really like easy to work with as far as like she learns pretty quick. So like, although like the Spanish doesn't sound like 100%, it was like good enough to be on film and to work with, you know. So
Right.
that was. But a lot of all that stuff was just improvised, you know. Like, I don't think I did any of Rob's lines in the script. All that stuff was just me saying Spanish and going, no one understands me anyway, so I could say whatever I want.
It's un poquito.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I mean, it's just, to me, again, you know, you see these little nuances in movies, and to me, that's just, I know the intention behind the shot,
Yeah.
but to me, it was absolutely hilarious listening to Sherry in that high-pitched voice yelling at you in Spanish as you're creeping up on her with two knives in your hands, dressed like a Nazi.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take a step back and you look at it, it's just unbelievable to see. And to me, it's just one of those shots, kind of like him, where you see that. You know what I mean? And it kind of ties into, for Mr. Brake, is you've had a couple movies where you've played like Doomhead. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, I mean, how many times did you say the F word in Halloween 2 as you're sitting there? You know what I mean? It was one of those things where it just kept going and going. But it's like in Doomhead, there was a scene where it just, you had this look, and the only way in any of your roles that I say was comparative to was in Mandy, where you had that just, like you weren't there. But you had this one shot, and I don't know if it was at the end, when you were just had that look on your face. So where do you get that? Where does that come from?
I'm not there most of my life, so I have that look most of the time.
He had that look most of the day today, too, actually, if you go to his table.
I use that look to get my children to sleep when we go to the fucking bed when they were little. Where do I get it? I don't know.
I mean, I didn't want to ask you something silly. I was trying to keep it in the 31.
I have
and
no
from
idea
hell.
where I got it. It's just somewhere in my dark soul.
Okay.
But the fucks, there was no fucks in the script. There was 14
all right.
fucks in the film, but but yeah, it's just, I don't know. A lot of it's the writing is so good. Rob writes, and Doomhead was in a beautifully written
Yeah.
part. I mean,
Yeah.
just like weirdly, I didn't talk about improvisation with Rob, like with 31. I don't think I improvised one line. You know, and obviously in Halloween I improvised a bit, and 3 from Hell we improvised loads, Bill and I especially, from the beginning, and you know the whole thing about shagging dogs and all that stuff was all just improv, and so it shows, you know, that's what I love about Rob. You know, he can be something where the writing is, you just can't change it. It's too beautiful.
Yeah.
And too perfect. And then other times where you do it as he wrote it, but then he's like, oh, try this, do this, you know, just go up and, you know, he came up to me and he's like, okay, next time you say, you know, the line, like Bill says to me, something like, what are we gonna do now? And then I say, I don't know, what do you think? And and we shot that, and then Rob comes up and goes, all right, next time, go tell Bill the plot of your next porn film, of your first porn film. And Bill's not expecting it, so he goes, action. And I had to come up, that was literally like 5 seconds, and then I had to come up with the plot of a porn film in 5 seconds, which wasn't that hard, in 5 seconds. You know, I'm thinking, fuck, okay. So I went over and just started telling Bill this thing about shagging dogs and all the rest of it. And I could see, if you watch it, I've seen it subsequently, you watch Bill's face, you can see him actually thinking, the actor thinking, what the fuck, for a second.
Where'd this come
and
from?
then Bill just starts coming back at me, you know. Well, I think the dog should be, you know, licking his balls or whatever the fuck he says, you know. And Bill was perfect. And that was our first day together. And that was like, I was like, perfect. Nice. We're gonna get on well, because I'd never met Bill before then.
Yeah,
So,
he says it's so hard to like come up with this stuff, and I think I just remember him 31 being so excited that he got to meet Ginger Lynn. So I think he knows these films better than he acts like.
Yeah, it's all right. All right, so I just want to say thank you for answering my questions. Is anybody in the crowd have any questions? Please don't be shy, because I got more. It's all about you guys.
Wolverine,
There you go.
do you have a question? Okay, sorry. Me? His vision, like he follows through. He has this amazing imagination, and he's able to put it on paper, put it on film, put the people together, and just create something that's original and twisted and entertaining. There's the follow through on that. It's really tough in Hollywood. It's so hard to make something and not be, have 10 other voices trying to tell you to do something different. He's hyper focused, and he's a good dude. So that's probably you guys.
Yeah, I just always describe him as a creative force of nature. I mean, when you're on a set with him, he's so creative and so spontaneous with, if something doesn't work. In low budget films, I mean, these aren't ultra low, but they're not multi-$100 million movies we're making. And, if something goes wrong, you can't just go, we're not going to film the rest of the day. You got to make it work. So he'll come up with like, all right, the fire's not working. Fucking hell, let's do this instead. He'll come up with some other idea that's 90% of the time better than the idea that didn't go right. Or whatever. He's got such an incredibly creative mind and energy that everyone on set is inspired. And I really noticed that from the beginning, and every time I worked with him, is that even the people that might be runners that are on their first film, young kids that are just, getting into the business, they're all inspired and enjoying and doing their best. So everybody from the top all the way down on the list of people that are involved, from the big producers to the runners, it's just a real energy that it comes from the top. It comes from Rob, really, and it's wonderful to be a part of that.
I like Rob because he's an actor's director, meaning like if he's not getting what he wants, he'll come out and like kind of recite the lines for you, like with the intention that he wants it in. So you're like, oh, I get it. And he's very specific with his direction. Whereas to like some directors you work with will be like, all right, I like what you did. Now give me everything but nothing. And you're like, what does that even mean? You know, so he knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. And what I like, that's what I like about him, is that he knows how to he knows how to express it like in a way that you understand what he's looking for, and you just kind of gotta trust him and go along for the ride, you know, because you know it's gonna be a wild one. Yeah.
Huh? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Anybody else have any questions? I got more. I just want to give everybody an opportunity. Right here.
When you guys work together as three guys looked at your part, or when you looked at the script before you even for your characters, like first read through the script.
What was your reaction to your character in the script from Three from Hell?
I mean, for me, I only found out quite late that I was going to be in that film because sadly Sid wasn't well. So Rob called me. I was shooting another movie in Spain, and Rob called and said, are you busy? I go, well, I'm doing a movie in Spain. He goes, well, I want you to be in Three from Hell, and you're going to be the new reject. And you know, then he told me the reason, obviously, and I was, you know, sad to hear that. But I was like, fuck. Of course, you know, I definitely want to do it. And luckily it worked out. I literally finished one, and then I went down to Los Angeles. And but I was shitting myself. So my first reaction when I read the script was, fuck, everybody's gonna fucking hate me because Sid's not in it, and they got this cunt fucking doing it instead. And I thought, so for 4 weeks of shooting, I basically shat my pants and prayed that I would be okay. And thankfully, because of Rob, again, his brilliance, the way he wrote it, and I kind of could see this as I read the script, so to further answer your question and bore the fuck out of everybody, is that I realized what he had done so brilliantly is he didn't try and make me like a doomhead kind of guy that comes in and is the new leader of the Devil Rejects, right? Like a new, like basically take over what Captain Spaulding was, who was the kind of the leader, I guess, right? The kind of main figure, father figure or whatever. Instead, he takes somebody from underneath who's desperate to belong with these guys and is kind of like this fucking shaggy, whatever, Scrappy-Doo kind of character, come in, and that was brilliant. So it wasn't, you know, if I'd had to come in and try and be like Captain Spaulding, that type of character, then it would have been a fucking disaster. But Rob, you know, instinctively knew that's not the way to go. Let Bill step up to be the leaderish, make fucking Baby mad as a fucking fish, and then bring in this weird fucking Scrappy-Doo character who howls a lot. So yeah, it was cool. It was scary but cool.
For me, like I got the call since I worked with Rob on 31, he called me like a few months before we shot Three from Hell and said, I wrote a part for you. And I was just excited about that, but he said, but this part is completely different from Sickhead. You're way more grounded, and you're the heart of the story. And he's like, so we want to see your chops, you know, like, so, which as an actor is like, you know, you always, that's kind of what you want to do, is be able to showcase something like that or be given the opportunity like that. So even the moment that, so in reading the script, kind of, I got a little feel of that. But also when me and Sherry got to do our scenes together, it was more of a direction of like, this is where Sherry's like completely insane and a lunatic throughout the movie. This is the part where you get to make her a humanizer, bring her to your level. And so with direction like that, you know, it's easy to work with, and we were able to do that. So I really liked it because I really enjoyed being Sickhead. But I enjoy characters like this a lot more, you know, that allow me to be a little bit more grounded and be like normal and a human being and actually care about him dying than not really caring at all. So that was kind of cool. Yeah.
I think I can't remember quite the order, but sometimes it just depends how you go about a character, and sometimes you go from like the clothes in, or you work on the character and then you figure out what they're gonna wear. But I think the look of the guy became the guy, from the pompadour to the mustache to the the clothes. We did a fitting, and then I immediately asked. I go, this guy's got to have a huge portrait of himself in his house. And he's just like, really? I go, yeah, I could get it done. I have a friend, a photographer. We're going to shoot these things. He said, all right, man. So we did it. And that, to me, that in my brain, it was like, that's who the guy was. Anybody who has a huge portrait in their house of themselves.
And that portrait now sits in his house.
I was just going to ask him if he still had it.
Hey.
It's all right. That's a really good question. That was an awesome question. I mean, that's a really in-depth question. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody?
Come on.
Right here. He said at the end of Three from Hell, everybody was kind of walking off in the sunset. Is there plans?
Yeah, I don't remember walking off. I think you saw a different movie.
No, yeah, you were still laying on the living room floor.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Were you still waiting for dinner?
Yeah, you never know. You just get a text from Rob. That's all we know. I know. Whenever every film I've ever done since Halloween 2, it's just been a text, going, "Are you busy?" So who knows what he has in mind in the future, what he's going to do and work on.
Right on. Yeah, I think the big thing is, I was having a conversation with people, and like some directors like working with certain actors, right? Because they can get that feel, they can bring that out of them, what they're looking for on film. Some of the greats in history, like John Carpenter, had the same kind of, rapport with some actors in certain movies. And, for me, it's like stepping outside of those movies and any of the Rob Zombie movies. I have other questions I want to ask. So, favorite non-horror character that you've played?
I just recently played the devil's assistant, and I know that sounds like it's horror, but it's more like it isn't. And that was like a really fun character to play.
And what movie was that?
It's this movie that I just shot in Bulgaria.
Okay.
But Seth Green plays kind of like the devil, and yeah, no, it's psychologically kind of like just a really like it was just fun to play a character like that. That is a little bit more. I usually get hired to kind of play these kind of dicks, and so it's always good to kind of be able to get to be able to play nicer characters and more like heartfelt characters. So that one, but that's not coming out for a year. But that will be a good character. I think one of my favorites ever. So
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Brigg? Jeff?
The favorite character question, I always say, it's like trying to choose my favorite child. I mean, I find it difficult, but because I've been really lucky and have not had many hardly any experiences that haven't been incredible. And I love all of the characters I've played, even the twisted and demented fucking psychopaths. But I mean, right now I'm having a lot of fun. I'm doing Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, yeah.
All right, right on.
I did last season, and we got another one at the moment we're shooting, and that's been a wonderful experience. And it's really, he's a leader of the Aryan Brotherhood, complete, utter fucking psychopathic cunt. But enjoying it.
I don't know how you would fill that role. It's just ludicrous.
So anyone who hasn't seen it, very good series. Little
Great series.
pitch.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite either. So, I guess Geico Caveman's a favorite when it comes to paying my bills. So maybe I'll say that for now.
Okay. Any other questions out there? I got more. No, I thought he had one. Go ahead, Wolverine.
All right then. All right. This one's more aimed towards Pancho and Richard, but let's just say it's reversed to 31. Did Father Murder ever offered you
I'll tell him, don't die this time. Jeez.
If your character was reprised in 31.
Yeah, no, it's like,
Yeah.
try not to die, man. Come on.
There was
You want
no
to
coming
stay in
back
this
from that one,
game.
right?
Be smarter.
Yeah.
I would answer that, but it was only directed to these two, so I'm going to keep quiet.
You know, I think that's the weird thing in horror is just like, you know, guys are just trying to have fun. Like in, you know, Devil's Rejects, it was, you know, a band just trying to get to, Uncle Banjo's trying to get to a next gig. You know, the same thing for you guys. You're in your van, you're trying to, and you run into these things. You know what I mean? It's great writing. Any other questions? Or if you'd like to answer, you can.
I was also trying to have fun until Wolverine took it away from me.
Oh. Go ahead, you can ask another one.
Herman Munster, it was fun, it was challenging, it was a crazy time in the world, and yeah, we all got together and we made it happen against all odds. And Budapest was, they had a curfew and there was nobody in the streets, the restaurants weren't open, so we just had to rely on each other, and we made it happen. And we're really proud of what we pulled off. And we were just trying to do it in the same spirit, and weren't trying to reinvent it. And it's been pretty great.
Good.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was fun. It was fun.
Any other questions? All right, so I guess the final question I would have for you three gentlemen, and if you weren't doing movies, what do you think you'd be doing for a living?
Stand-up comedy.
All right.
He does do stand-up comedy, by the way.
Not for a living.
Oh. All right, already.
I'm just being honest.
Hey, listen.
It's
I
a
get it.
grind.
He's very funny.
Yeah.
If you follow him on Instagram, you'll see some of his act. He's very, very
Timing
funny.
and comedy is hard, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy. Mr. Brake?
I have no idea, honest. What would I do? Jeez.
No life skills other than a
I
psychopath?
I actually do not have any other life skills. I can't, honest to fuck, I couldn't, in the house, I can't do it, like fix shit and stuff. It's embarrassing. We have somebody helping out at the moment doing some carpentry work. And it's embarrassing because it's like, can you help hang this picture? You know, I'm like, I'm useless. I'm useless, but I could, well, at least I can do what
That's
I do.
okay. All right.
Yeah, I have no idea what I would do.
I'd probably run a hardware store in Hartford, probably, Connecticut. That's what I'd want to do. I know a lot about hardware.
Okay. And I guess my last question is if you were able to be in a horror movie, in the pantheon of horror movies, and you had a chance to be in that, what role would you like to play?
Wow, that's a good one.
I want to stretch your brains for a minute. If you can be in a horror movie and play a role in a horror movie, what would you like to be in? Out of every horror movie ever made.
Well, from being here and seeing what has happened, probably the Terrifier movie, to be honest. To be brutally honest.
Okay.
Damien, where are you? Put me in one of your movies, please.
I'll tell him. I'll go. Say,
Yeah,
listen, Pancho
please.
wants to be in a movie. Pancho,
All of us do.
A prop.
It
Good answer.
seems to be very lucrative.
Well, I mean, it's just if you watch that movie,
They're
and
fun
understand-
movies, though. They're really fun
They're
movies.
fun, but they're depraved. Like there was a woman, she had to be about maybe 75, 80, and she was the happiest woman I've ever seen because she had just got her picture taken with David in the costume. And I'm like, what was your favorite kill? And she's like, in Terrifier 3, when the brother was hung on the wall and he was rubbing her face in the intestines, and she goes, that was her favorite kill. And I'm sitting there going, that movie has definitely transcended something in this culture today that is just doing amazing.
It's a work of art.
Yeah, it's there. How about you?
Oh, I thought Pancho answered
Okay,
for
all
all
right.
three of us.
Okay.
Is there a horror movie that you want to be in, Richard?
That you wish you could be in, that you look at?
What, from the past?
Yeah.
No, I never have. I mean, I want to, I'd love to play some kind of Dracula character at some point. like a
that's
good
a good
one,
idea.
in a really good script.
I can
like,
see it.
And I've had a few kind of come by. No, play a Dracula kind of character, in some. So if anyone has a really good, Dracula
Like Bill
type script.
Skarsgård,
Good
Nosferatu,
vampire.
or Bela
I don't know,
Lugosi kind of Dracula?
it's just something original.
Twilight?
Play a vampire.
You don't want to be sparkly?
Twilight. Well, Twilight wouldn't be bad for the paycheck.
No?
I'll do that one any day.
I understand. That's all right. Wolverine has one more question. It's going to be our last question.
All right. This one's for everybody this time.
Oh, thanks.
If you had any superpower in real life that you wanted, no matter how ridiculous it sounded, how ridiculous it was, what would you pick?
Be in a Terrifier movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably be in a Terrifier movie. No, mine would be to be able to control people's minds. So I can be in a Terrifier movie.
It's so good.
Good answer. Thank you, whoever said that. I'm going to keep it.
How about you, Jeff? Random superhero question.
Well, I was a superhero.
Bert?
I had a couple. I was on a Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
as a screamer. That was pretty cool. And then,
Oh,
then
you
the
said
other
something
one.
real, though. Something real, like a real superpower.
I know. Let me answer. Jeez. And the other one was called Fade and the Gifted, and I kind of liked it because I could just disappear, like right now when Pancho's talking to me in front of everyone. I could disappear and fade away. But the reason they kept bringing me back on that show is it was the cheapest special effect. They would turn the camera off and I'd walk off and they'd turn it back on. So it was kind of brilliant because I ended up getting 11 episodes out of that because I was the cheapest superhero on that show. So,
Nice.
so I'm going to stick with that.
The VFX budget was low.
Beautiful.
And Mr. Brake, the last question to you is, what superpower would you...
Probably to teleport, so I wouldn't have to get on as many airplanes as I have to, so I could just go and be somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate. All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for being here. Let's
Thank
give
you,
it
guys.
one more round of applause for Jeff Daniel Phillips, Richard Brake, and Pancho Moler.
Thank you, Wolverine.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.